What's up, guys? I'm JJ,
I'm Javier.
and this is PM Football. It is Super Bowl week,
Yep.
and what better way to kick off Super Bowl week than with our first full first-round mock draft of the year.
Yep.
You are going to be taking the odds. I'm going to be taking the evens. We're going to go back and forth, kind of give some analysis on some of these guys, why we think they'd be good fits with these teams. And with that being said, let's get this thing rolling.
With the first overall pick, the Las Vegas Raiders select Fernando Mendoza, quarterback out of Indiana. We've talked about this. This seems like the first consensus first overall pick since I would say Trevor Lawrence. There really is no competition here. I don't know any other direction they could possibly go if they choose to stay at one. It's obviously got to be Fernando Mendoza here.
The Raiders need a quarterback.
Yeah.
They don't need to go anywhere else. Don't overthink it. The only way I could see it not possibly being him, or at least being them taking him, is if they trade out of the position.
That's the only way I don't see Mendoza going one to the Raiders is if they trade out. That's the only scenario. Either the Raiders take him at one or they trade out.
And, I mean, it's just not a very good quarterback class.
No. Or we should probably say this. We're not a fan of this class in general.
Yeah.
But, no, especially the QB position. It very much is lacking this year. Even, I would say, honestly, even more than last year's. And we were big critics of last year's QB class.
At number 2, we're going to have the New York Jets selecting Arvell Reese. At a premium position in the NFL at the edge rusher. I think he has a lot of Micah Parsons to his game, kind of just being able to move around as a chess piece. Very good in the pass rush department. I would say he's a little bit stronger than Micah. He's a bigger guy, I would say, than Micah.
I think he is. This might be crazy to say. I think if we're talking simply athletically, he might be a better athlete than Micah.
I think that's with the size and frame that he has.
Speed, I think he's faster.
So, I mean, comparing a guy to Micah Parsons and saying he's more athletic than Micah Parsons, pretty high expectations for this guy.
Yeah.
The thing is that you need to temper your expectations with him is because this is really his first year playing defensive end. The years prior, he was playing linebacker, like a complete stand-up linebacker. This year, they bring him down to the edge position. And, I mean, they still used him all over the field, but this was like the first year that he was a true edge. And he definitely had some growing pains. He still isn't great against the run. And that's just going to come with time and putting more mass on that body. Because, I mean, he is a big body. He still has room to improve mass-wise. And if you can improve his run-stopping ability, the pass rush game's already there. I think that he has a really high ceiling. And for the Jets, I don't know who else you're going to take here. You just got to go best player available in a class where you definitely need a quarterback. You're not taking Ty Simpson at number 2. And, I mean, maybe there's a guy that rises throughout the process, but
not to 2.
That's what I mean. Like Nussmeier, maybe.
Unless Trinidad Chambliss just goes absolutely nuclear in, the combine.
If he runs, a 4.4.
Yeah, if he just puts up absolutely ridiculous numbers, maybe. But even then, I'm like...
He's 5'10".
2 at 2, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But I like the pick here. He's both of our number 1 player. It makes sense.
Yeah, and you get him at 2.
Yeah. Number 3, the Arizona Cardinals select Ruben Bain Jr. out of Miami. Cardinals desperately need not only defense, an actual edge rusher that could put pressure on a quarterback. I think Ruben Bain does that very well at a very high level. He's also really good at run stopping, which is something the Cardinals desperately need. I think this would be a good fit here in Arizona.
Absolutely. Ruben, I would give him the run-stopping ability over his pass rush ability at this point. I think he's a very stout run stopper. I think he needs to grow in the pass game or pass rush game. I think he needs to incorporate more moves. He's more of just a speed to power guy right now, which works at the college level.
Yeah.
And the biggest concern with him is the arms, the short arms. The speed to power can work at the college level, but at the NFL level, when all the tackles have 34, 35-inch arms, other than Will Campbell at this point, they're going to be able to just put their arm out and stop you. And they're just as strong as you, if not stronger. So I really like Ruben Bain and his potential. There's just a lot of question marks still with him. But I do like that pick. At number 4, we have the Tennessee Titans taking Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. This receiver class is very top-heavy, in my opinion. I think there's a couple good players down the board, but the top 3 are Tate, Lemon, and Tyson. Out of the 3, Tate, to me, is the more complete receiver. I think they all do things differently and do things at higher levels than the other players, but Tate, to me, does all of the things better than... What am I trying to say? Like, he's more the complete receiver. That's what I'm trying to say.
The way I put it is, and we've talked about this, out of the top 3 receivers, Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Makai Lemon, I'm a fan of all 3, and whoever you have as your 1, personally, I can't necessarily disagree because I do like all 3 of them. I think Carnell Tate, out of the 3, is probably the most polished and the most pro-ready, in my opinion. So, I mean, I like that pick here at 4. You have to get Cam Ward a best friend. You have to get him a number 1 receiver. And I think Carnell Tate could be that for him.
Yeah. No, you said what I was trying to say.
Yeah. And Ohio State receivers most of the time tend to work out. So why not just take that gamble? No, that doesn't really seem like
it's
a gamble.
Not even a gamble.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, most polished. Give Cam Ward
most
that weapon.
pro-ready, yeah.
Give Cam Ward a weapon. That's what he needs.
Yeah.
And in a day ball system.
Yeah. I thought that was a great hire. Yeah. Number 5, we have the New York Giants, and we have them taking Francis Mauigoa, tackle out of Miami. We talked about this. I definitely see him more as a guard, but nonetheless, I think he could be a pretty good, if not borderline elite offensive lineman in this league. The Giants desperately need O-line help, and I think Mauigoa fits an absolute need for them there at 5.
Yeah, I don't think they need to overthink this at all.
No.
Take the lineman. You've had problems there for the past however many years. Take them. And again, we both kind of view him more as a guard.
Yeah.
But that's not a problem. Like, if he's a great guard, you take him.
Yeah.
It improves your offensive line.
Yeah.
And that's what they need to do.
You keep your hopeful QB, franchise QB healthy. Like, you like you said, you don't overthink it. You take him at 5. You protect the guy you're hoping to give the keys to your franchise to.
Absolutely. And then at number 6, we have the Cleveland Browns selecting Jordan Tyson, wide receiver out of Arizona State. We talked about him a little bit. He is a guy that I think, if had no injury concerns, could potentially be the number 1 receiver in this class.
Yeah.
Athletically, he's very gifted. He's great contested catch ability. Does struggle with concentration drops at times. More than you would like to see. I mean, that comes with the build, as I would say, like with that type of receiver. And not to, like, he's a good route runner. I wouldn't say great route runner. I think that's one of the areas he needs to improve. But if you're the Browns, you need to find weapons. You got 2. You got Quinshon Judkins in this past class, and in this past class, you got Harold Fannin.
Yeah.
Those are going to be your 2 focal points on offense. You don't have a receiver, though. Yeah. Jerry Jeudy's been there for a couple of years at this point. He
fell off this year.
He didn't have a great season, and I think he just, like, I don't think he wants to be there. And I don't blame him.
And, like, it was just the entire system offensively just was not good. You don't exactly, as of now, it doesn't really look like you have your franchise QB just yet. But whoever your next hopeful franchise QB is, at least get him a best friend, a guy he can rely on. And I think Jordan Tyson could be that guy.
And I could see the arguments for people saying, why not offensive line here? You got to pick later in the first. Don't worry.
And not only that, I view Jordan Tyson as a better prospect than any of the remaining offensive linemen.
That too.
So, yeah, number 7, we have my Washington Commanders. Desperately need help on the defensive side, specifically at edge rusher. At number 7, the Commanders select David Bailey, edge out of Texas Tech. I am a big David Bailey guy. He is my number 1 rated pure edge rusher. If we're including Arvell Reese, then he'd be 2. But a player who is strictly on the edge, David Bailey is my number 1. I love his twitch. I love his power. The tools he has in his bag in edge rushing is incredible to have at that level of college. My one complaint, I wish he had a better motor at times. It seems like there are some plays where he kind of takes the play off. hoping he cleans that up a little bit. But everything else, huge fan of David Bailey. I think he could be a great addition to this hopeful new defense in Washington.
And he doesn't wear gloves.
It's cool. I'm all
He's
with it,
old
man.
school.
Yeah,
He is an old school type player.
Yeah.
The motor, I would agree with you with that. I think he could get better in that facet, but pure edge
everything
rusher.
else, like I'm a fan of.
I was one of the first people that I feel like I still have David Bailey over Ruben Bain.
Me too.
You said that too.
Yeah.
I feel like I was very early on the David Bailey.
You were.
I liked him a lot, and that was still when people were saying Ruben Bain was going to be the top guy. And I mean, we had Bain going here, but that's more so
a consensus.
the consensus at this point. I'm taking David
Bailey.
Bailey, though.
We kind of, when we should have said this at the beginning, when we did this mock draft, we kind of mixed them both of like what we thought what we would do, but also consider like what is the consensus right now with these prospects
and the production.
Yeah,
like, he's just
that as well.
He's a sack. He can get so many sacks.
He gets there, and even when he doesn't sack the quarterback, like the quarterbacks always keep an eye on him because he's right there. It seems like every play or every other play, he is right there in the quarterback's
He's a walking
lap.
sack.
Yeah,
and not
which is something we need desperately in Washington.
100%.
So if this were to happen, I'm doing flips, honestly.
Moving on to number 8, New Orleans Saints are going to be taking Caleb Downs, safety out of Ohio State. Pound for pound, potentially the best player in the draft. He is at a position where the position isn't very valuable to a lot of NFL organizations, and we see that a lot, where the number one safety in the class that we're touting as a top 10 player inevitably doesn't go in the top 10 and falls out and goes in the teens.
Mm-hmm.
They're still an awesome player.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like, if you're the Saints, you have so many holes on that team that you're taking BPA, and I think it's hands down Caleb Downs is the best player on the board at this point. You could argue Jeremiah Love. You probably are moving on from Kamara, but Caleb Downs I think could fix or help fix that back end of that defense. And offensively, like, you guys weren't terrible last year. No. Defensively, though, a lot of help you need, and Caleb Downs would be a great way to start there.
I agree with you. I think Caleb Downs will be an amazing addition to New Orleans here. Yeah, there's not much to say. He has tremendous value in the DB room. Automatic comes in, could possibly be a top 5 safety in the league right away. Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of high hopes here for him going 8 to New Orleans. Number 9, Kansas City Chiefs. Did not think we would say that. Even if you didn't think the Chiefs were going to miss the playoffs, the top 10 pick is pretty crazy.
I've never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined a top 10 pick. And if that were the case, I would think we'd be in the Super Bowl this weekend. Yeah. We're not.
But regardless, number 9, like you said, layup. The Kansas City Chiefs select Jeremiah Love. And I told you this last night when we were making this mock. This, to me, reminds me of Tyler Warren of last year when throughout the entire offseason, with all the mocks and everything, if Tyler Warren got to 13 with the Colts, he was going to the Colts. Everyone truly believed that, and that's what happened. I truly believe I would bet $1 million if Jeremiah Love, without injuries or anything crazy happened in the offseason, if Jeremiah Love reaches number 9 to the Chiefs, he is a Kansas City Chief, no doubt in my mind. And as he should be, I literally just said 5 minutes ago, I think he has a chance of being an extremely elite running back in this league. I am a huge Jeremiah Love fan. I have not liked a running back prospect this much since probably Bijan Robinson. Yeah, I think this is a home run.
There's just not a lot of holes in his game.
No, none whatsoever. It is hard for me to find something he is not good at.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty much not only good at it, he is elite at pretty much everything.
That's what I love to hear him going to the Chiefs. Love to hear that.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's a home run pick for the Chiefs here at 9.
At number 10, the Cincinnati Bengals are taking Keldrick Falk, Auburn defensive end. They're probably losing Trey Hendrickson this year. I'm not saying he's like a similar type of player to Trey Hendrickson, but he is a big-bodied defensive end that is good against a run. He's nowhere near the pass rusher that Trey Hendrickson was in putting up that production of getting 17 and a half sacks a year. I don't think he's ever going to get to that level. He might top out like a 10-sack guy as like a ceiling for him, but the Bengals need so much help defensively. And again, going back to the Trey Hendrickson, you're going to lose Trey Hendrickson. You need to find a guy, at least a body to replace him, because Shamar Stewart, I was a guy that I was super high on last year.
I don't know why.
He battled through injuries and didn't really have
trash.
a good season at all.
He was not good in college. I did not see a
I just liked
resemblance.
his
Ability to not get to the quarterback.
I'm not giving up on him yet.
I am. Was never a fan.
But Keldrick Falk could be a helpful tool on that defensive line that really, really needs help. He can rush the passer when he needs to. Wouldn't say he's great at it, and he's good against the run. Just kind of time back to this class really just it doesn't really have top tier talent. So I'm sorry for Bengals fans to not make it seem like I don't like this pick, because I do like Keldrick Falk as a player, but I'm just not super excited about
I would be if I was the Bengals. I'm big on Keldrick Falk. I think he wreaks havoc. I think he has rare athleticism for that size. I mean, he is a freak athlete for that size. He's just a bully all around. He's just a bully. If I'm the Bengals, I'd be pretty happy with Keldrick Falk here. I think it's a great pick. 11, the Miami Dolphins take Mansour Delane, corner out of LSU. There's several routes the Dolphins could have taken here. They could have gone O-line, could have gone DB. We went with the DB route. I think especially with Jeff Hafley being there now, they probably do go defensive-minded. They desperately need DB help. We have them taken what the consensus is the top corner in the class. So I think it's a pretty solid pick here for Miami.
Yeah, no, like you said, they need help so bad defensively. Yeah. And the easiest way to do that is to get a corner that could potentially be a lockdown at the next level. If you have a guy that can lock down another player's number one, that solves a lot of issues. They haven't had that since Jalen Ramsey. Maybe throw in Xavier Howard. Like, it's been a while though.
Yeah,
they haven't had.
It's been a while since his prime.
They haven't had any top tier corners since those two guys. And Mansour Delane has the ability to become a potential number one corner in this league. Sticky corner, plays aggressively, has the size and speed combo that you want to see in a corner. Also gets a lot of interceptions and batted balls. I like this pick for the Dolphins. I would hate to have him in our division, but great pick for the Dolphins. At number 12, with the Dallas Cowboys selecting Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State. So Ohio State has two guys this year, Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles, that are pretty brand new to the positions that they're playing right now. We talked about Arvell moving from linebacker down to the defensive end position. Sonny was a safety that moved down to linebacker because he just continued to grow. He's standing at 6'5", like 225 right now. Still has the range of a safety playing middle linebacker. Has great speed. There are times where he gets beat in coverage, and I think he has a lot of room to grow as a run stopper, but the athleticism and just knowledge of being able to be where the ball is at all times, I think there's a very high ceiling for a player like that, especially with the Cowboys who tried to make they traded for Logan Wilson halfway through the year last year. It worked out okay. Demarion Overshown, I like still as a player, but if you can have Sonny Styles and Overshown on the same defense next to each other, it's a great linebacking core. I really like Sonny Styles as a player.
Yeah, I like Sonny Styles too, and I think it makes a lot of sense for Dallas to take him here. I agree. I think he could definitely use some work on his coverage ability. I think that's part of the reason why they moved him from safety to linebacker. But regardless, I think the flaws I see in his coverage, I think, are very coachable.
I was going to say.
And I think he could end up being a very solid coverage linebacker in the league, and that's not even his strength. Like, he just reads the game very well.
Yeah.
So I do think this is a very good pick for Dallas, unfortunately, for me.
Yeah.
Number 13, we have the Rams. Choosing that 13 here because of the Falcons. Nice job, Atlanta. But we have the Rams.
James Pierce wasn't bad.
It's as if I told you so. It's as if I was trying to tell you, hey, this guy has some pretty good athleticism that translates well to the NFL. You shunned me and tried to gaslight me.
Jalen Walker.
Thinking
Jalen Walker was the reason he was good.
No, and Jalen Walker If you've watched the show, you know I'm a huge Jalen Walker guy. That's not the reason. They're both very talented in their own way. Regardless, at 13, we have the LA Rams taking Avion Terrell, corner out of Clemson. On a personal note, Avion Terrell is my corner one of the class personally. I think he's better in man coverage than Delane. And I don't want this to sound like I don't like Delane because I do like him. I think he's a little better in man coverage. I think he's a little stickier. I think his eyes are more disciplined and he plays a little bit smarter. Again, I like them both. Just me personally, I have Terrell a little more ahead than Delane. But I think this is a great pick for the Rams. There's not a lot of weaknesses on that team, but I think they could definitely use another corner to kind of solidify or even lock down an entire side of the field. I think Avion Terrell could really do that for them.
This is a luxury pick.
Yes,
they
very much
they
so.
should not be picking here. Having a top 15 pick in this class, where
After going to the NFC Championship game.
and especially
Crazy.
later on in this first round, a guy like Avion Terrell is significantly better than some of the prospects that are going to be
Yes,
sitting
absolutely.
there at
Yes.
29, which is your other pick. Why not go get a guy that could potentially be a lockdown corner?
Yeah.
That if you had to say a weakness on that team, which there are not very many of,
No, maybe kicker.
corner.
Yeah.
But they got the big, thick kicker.
They do, but they
Kicker, the
got him
kicker.
like maybe not. I'm thinking special teams as a unit. Maybe not the kicker, but like get better depth to be on your special teams is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
No, Avion Terrell, really good player. I still have Delane ahead of him. I just like the size a little bit better of
Yeah,
Delane.
Delane definitely has more of the more prototypical size you would want.
But I'm still a big fan of Avion Terrell. It's in the blood. AJ Terrell is his brother.
Yeah,
Very, very, very good corner in the NFL.
yeah.
See if his brother can do the same thing. At number 14, the Baltimore Ravens are going to be selecting Peter Woods, defensive tackle out of Clemson. Baltimore defensively struggled. It's kind of the same,
Yeah.
been the same thing the past 3 years, and they finally made a change at the top of getting rid of Harbaugh. The defense always starts out slow, and then by halfway through the year, they're able to figure it out, and they're a top 5 defensive group. Even though they did start to figure it out halfway through the year last year, the run game was still a big issue for them, and getting interior pressure from the defensive tackle position. Matabike missed a lot of time last year, and I think Peter Woods is a guy that you could plug and play right next to him to be a great run stopper and a good pass rusher. I give him a lot of credit for a defensive tackle. He's got pretty good pass rush ability. I would even put that over his run stopping ability at this point. I think he uses his hands very well. He's a strong player, has a great anchor. I would be really excited if I was a Ravens fan with Peter Woods.
I think he moves very well for his size. I think I more in love with like his potential than what he showed at Clemson. Not saying he was like,
and I just think
a
it
bum.
happened to do with Clemson. Like,
yeah,
Clemson
and that's the other thing. That's why I'm not necessarily like. I do like him. I wouldn't say I'm crazy about him, but like I do like his game.
I mean, before the season started, this dude's talked about as a top 5
Yeah,
pick.
and I think that's the reason why I'm not really low on him because I understand like
The potential.
I mean, same thing with Avion Terrell. It's like all right, like as a whole, like that team for whatever reason just did not perform the way they thought they would or what everyone else thought they would. But when you see Peter Woods play, I think you could definitely see the potential in how
You
he
see the
moves.
flashes.
Yeah,
There
absolutely.
are flashes.
Absolutely. So I think this is a very promising pick here at 14 for them.
It's just being able to put it all together.
Yeah. At 15, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We have them taking Vega Ione, offensive lineman out of Penn State. Pretty much the consensus number 1 rated
Guard.
interior offensive lineman in this class.
That's not to say, though, we think a lot of these guys are guards.
Yeah, let me say the number 1 rated guard that actually played guard
yeah.
in college. But yeah, we were kind of struggling with the Bucks a little bit because they don't have a lot of weaknesses, but the weaknesses they do have, like there's not really guys at this point in the draft that you could really say is better than Vega at this point that you would want to take over Vega. So not to say we played it safe here. We just kind of went with best player available that you need
Yeah.
for the Bucks here. So we took Vega Ione here.
And he's a vet. Like, he's
Yes.
been doing it for 4 years at this point. He knows what he's doing at the position. Protect Baker. Baker kind of
Yeah.
had a down year. They had injuries along that offensive line as well. They need more stability there, and I think Vega definitely fills a void there. At number 16, we're going to be having the New York Jets with their second pick in the first round, taking Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver out of USC. They get Arvell Reese and Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah.
Those
that's
are
a
two
pretty
of
good
my
draft.
favorite players in the entire draft.
I think if Mekhi Lemon was like 3 inches taller, I think undoubtedly he'd be the number 1 receiver in the class.
100%.
Like,
And he is
so talented.
I'll say he is my number 1 receiver
Yeah.
right now.
And
Even at the size he is.
And like I said in the beginning of the video, when it comes to the top 3 guys, no matter who you have at 1, I can't really blame you for it because I can see it. Like, I can see why Mekhi Lemon is your 1. He is so talented.
It's the size. And I would say his speed isn't definitely top tier. I think he's more of a short intermediate guy, not
I
necessarily.
like how fluid he is.
He is a
though.
very fluid player, and he looks like he looks quick. But I don't really. I'm interested to see what his 40 time is.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be very fast. I think he's going to be in the late or mid 4.5s, maybe late 4.4s. If he gets under a 4.5, it's great. Like he just improved his draft stock even more, and he might be going higher than 16. But for a fit for the Jets, you need to get somebody in there other than Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's getting double teamed every single game.
Yeah.
I think he's getting sick of it.
Yeah.
You need to get another weapon in there for whoever insert name quarterback that is next year. Hopefully not Justin Fields. But you need to give whoever that guy is more weapons other than just Garrett Wilson. Breece Hall, probably going to be gone. Running back could be a position that they maybe go, but Mekhi
at
Lemon
this
with the
point,
value
yeah,
is just such a hard thing to pass up on,
For sure.
especially when you need another skill position player.
For sure. At 17, we have the Detroit Lions. We're having them take Akeem Mesidor here, edge out of Miami. I'm a big fan of his as well. Kind of reminds me of Ruben Bain, just not as good. I think he's a very good edge rusher, but also very good at run stopping. I think they complement each other very well, and I think it could be similar to that with him and Aiden Hutchinson. Obviously, them two particularly have very different styles compared to like Mesidor and Ruben Bain. But regardless, I think both their play styles could kind of complement each other, and I think this could be, I don't want to say elite, but a very good edge rusher to have that could also stop the run at a high level.
I think the argument with him is going to be how much did he benefit with playing with Ruben Bain?
Yeah.
But the same thing could be said the other way around. Is how much did Ruben Bain benefit from playing with
I can see
Mesidor?
that, yeah.
But guess what? If Detroit's taking him, he's going to play with another elite defensive end. So, like,
And you're playing on a pretty good defense. Like, you have Jack Campbell there at linebacker.
yeah,
Um,
Brian Branch. In the
Brian
secondary.
Branch, yeah, and you have a good defensive system there. Like, the Lions' defense is pretty good.
Yeah.
So, regardless, I think they could utilize him very well, and I think he could really be an asset for their defense.
They've just been searching for that other edge.
Yeah.
And I think Mesidor could be that guy. And he's a guy that's really risen over the past couple weeks. The run in the playoffs really helped his case.
For sure. Yeah.
And he was down at the Senior Bowl too and played really well down there too.
Yeah.
Moving on to number 18, their divisional rivals, the Minnesota Vikings, are going to be taking Jermon McCoy, corner out of Tennessee. Now, McCoy is an interesting case.
Yeah.
He missed all of the 2025 season after suffering a torn ACL late in the 24 season. If that dude played last year at the level that he did in 2024, there's no question in my mind he'd be the number 1 corner off the board. This dude hasn't played football in a full calendar year, though. And probably won't play football for another 8 months because there's no football.
Yeah.
So,
Until September, yeah.
so we're going to have to see if that skill – I mean, the skill should still be there. It's going to be able to be getting him back up to speed of playing football again because when it's his turn to play, it's going to be almost a year and a half since he's played competition, like pure football.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only scary thing. For the Vikings, they need another corner. Defensively, they were kind of down this year where that was kind of their backbone in years prior. All around, the Vikings just were kind of a mess this year. J.J. McCarthy did not play anywhere near the
You
level.
got your receiver saying we will have won more games with our quarterback from last year. Like,
It's just a mess right now,
Yeah.
and you kind of need to find a game changer. And he could potentially be that because with the way that he played 2 years ago, and again, that's crazy to say that we're going to have a guy going in the first round that didn't play a full year last year. But he's that good. Yeah. If he can just get to that level again, there's no doubt in my mind he's going to be a great corner at the next level.
Yeah, like you said, it really comes down to what was his recovery like and can he adjust to that speed of the NFL, especially without playing for a full year. But with his skill set and his talent, that might be a risk you have to take.
And it's not like it happened in the January of 25, so the end of the 24 season.
Yeah.
12 months, he should be back. But when you go back to look at Tennessee's season this year, they weren't really playing for much. They had a good season, but they weren't a playoff team or anything. They
hit expectations, yeah.
So I don't think he was in any rush to come back. So I think there's potential he could have come back this year, but played it safe. And with that being said, he's still a first-round pick. So maybe you get to go to a good team now because you didn't play.
Yeah. Instead, you'll be in a good defensive system.
That's what I'm saying.
So that should help for sure. At 19, we have the Carolina Panthers, and we have them taking Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon. This is one of those picks that we said earlier where we're also factored in consensus and what other people's overall thoughts are on certain prospects. I don't hate Kenyon Sadiq. I think he is talented. I just would not say I'm necessarily a fan of Kenyon Sadiq's. However, you need to give Bryce Young more weapons. And out of the weapons that are available, I think this makes the most sense for the Panthers. So we have him going there.
I just think the tight end position and specific for the Panthers have just been such a revolving door over the past couple of years where you kind of need a guy to be that consistent. And he could be that. He's been a guy at Oregon. I mean, they ran a multiple tight end look this year. They also, I can't remember the guy's first name. It was Johnson was the other tight end that they had there, though. Was his last name. I can't. It's like Keenan Johnson or something. Okay. But he was the other tight end in Oregon. Maybe try to play a little bit more 12 with the Panthers. They still had. They took. I'm blanking on who the other guy. They had Jatavion Sanders. Yeah. He hasn't been great, but they drafted a guy last year too. I can't remember his name now. He's like. I think he went to Notre Dame.
You're not talking about Tremble, are you?
No.
I was going to say, he's been there for
No, it's a guy they drafted last year. But regardless, they still have tight end position or pieces at the tight end position to fill it, but Sadiq could be that consistent player that they just haven't had at the tight end position. I like the pick. Again, I'm not as big of a fan either. He's just more like the consensus right now.
Yeah, it's just what makes sense as of now.
Yeah. And then moving on to number 20, it's the Dallas Cowboys' second pick. We are going to have them selecting Cassius Howell, edge rusher out of Texas A&M. Keep a Texas guy in Texas. Jerry Jones is all about that. And at this point, like, he might be the best. In my opinion, he is the best edge rusher on the board at this point, and they need that. They need to find that void that they got rid of Micah Parsons with. I'm not saying he's Micah Parsons by any mean, but they need that speed rusher that is going to be able to get sacks. And they really missed that last year. I mean, Jadeveon Clowney played pretty well for them. Yeah. Ezraku, really good for them last year.
I would say, yeah, definitely exceeded my expectations for him.
I think having him and Ezraku on opposite sides of each other on that line could really be a great foundation piece to that defensive line when you already have Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark.
Yeah. I think overall this is a pretty solid draft for the Cowboys. I mean, you have Sonny Styles going at 12, and then you get Cassius Howell. You pretty much revamped your defense in the first round alone. Maybe later on in the draft or even in free agency you fix your DB issues, but for a team that desperately needs help on defense to spend both your first round picks on Sonny Styles and Cassius Howell, I think could drastically improve that defense.
And you basically drafted Quinnen Williams all over again.
Yeah.
Like, you got Quinnen Williams on the defensive line, who was a massive game changer for them when he was a part of that team.
For sure. At 21, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we have them taking Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama. Only the second quarterback to go so far in this class. I am someone who likes Ty Simpson. I do like him. But he has to sit for at least a year. I thought he should have gone back to school. I thought that would have been the right choice. I just don't think he was necessarily ready. I think he has the talent to be good in the NFL. I just think he was not ready to take that next step just yet. He declared for the draft. I think he should end up sitting where hopefully maybe you have Aaron Rodgers to learn
Big
from.
Mike
McCarthy's there. Maybe you could convince Aaron Rodgers to stay one more year, one last hurrah. You went to the playoffs last year. Let's see if we can make a run this year with your old coach. While all that's happening, you have a young quarterback who has talent sitting there taking notes and learning from a future first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that out of the three quarterbacks that have been talked about pretty much all season being a first-round pick this year, Mendoza, Ty Simpson, Dante Moore. The Dante Moore is the one that went back. Ty Simpson, I feel like, should have gone back too. I'm not saying Dante Moore should not have gone back. He probably needed another year, but he probably would have been a top 5 pick.
Dante Moore would have been a New York
pick.
Jet
Yeah, he'd been
if
a second
he
pick.
declared, which you could argue possibly dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, but guess what?
What?
The Jets are going to have the number 2 pick next year too.
Which, just hope you're number 1 then.
They're going to have the first pick next year. You are not. If you want to escape the Jets, it's impossible. They will find a way to get you on that.
The only
team.
way to escape the Jets is to not be good
Yeah.
and fall in the draft, but be good enough to still go in the first round.
Exactly.
To be a Ty Simpson. That's how you avoid the Jets.
But back to Ty Simpson. I think you would massively benefit sitting a year like you mentioned. Convince Aaron to come back one more year. I don't know. It's going to be a tough sell for him because it seemed like he was done.
Yes. However, Big Mike, you never know.
It's just going to be
You
really
never know.
rough if they take him with the assumption Aaron's coming back and then all of a sudden, I mean, Aaron's going to do something Aaron,
I mean, if
and he gets thrown to the
look,
wolves.
if you're the GM and you're Mike McCarthy, and let's say hypothetically Aaron Rodgers doesn't end up coming back. One, if Rodgers does end up coming back, I believe it would be under the assumption of this is it. Like,
Yeah.
legitimately, this is it. Because last year was supposed to be it. It's not. We're convinced you do one more year. This legitimately is the last one. So, therefore, I think that gives you the leeway to be like, all right, we're drafting your successor. You are our guy for this year. We're going out with one last hurrah. We just so happen to have a guy learning from you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Maybe it'll work. We're not saying it definitely will, but I think there's a shot.
I think there's a very good chance it would work if that's how it played out because I think Ty Simpson has tools. And
Yeah,
I really do like
absolutely.
Ty Simpson as a quarterback. He just did not finish the year strong and still has a lot of things to learn. And why not learn from one of the best to ever do it?
Yeah.
At number 22, got the LA Chargers selecting Emmanuel Pregnon, offensive guard out of Oregon. He was one of the top transfer portal prospects from last year. He was a guy that played at USC. When I was at Texas, we were going after him. He's entered the portal like 5 times at this point, but he is a polar bear in pads, just a massive guy that eats up space, great in the run game, definitely can improve in the passing game. But you're drafting this dude to be a mauler, and that is exactly what the Chargers' identity is running the football. I think he would be a great fit in a Jim Harbaugh offense.
I'm actually a big fan of Emmanuel Pregnon. I love his pass protection ability. I'm like kind of like what you said. He is like a you didn't say dancing polar bear. You called him a polar bear.
polar
But I'm
bear.
gonna say he's like a dancing bear. He's like a dancing polar bear. He has such clean footwork. I love how he comes off the ball with violence. He has great hands, or you said great footwork. He just eats up space. I think this is such a great pick for the Chargers, and I'm a fan of his.
It's also a lot higher than I've seen him going. And it's not to say that we think he should be going higher, but I think we just have him up ahead of some of the other guys.
For sure. For sure. At 23, we have our first trade. At number 23, we have the Texans traded with the Eagles. The Texans jump up, try to get some offensive line help to help out CJ Stroud, throw him a little bit of a bone. We have the Houston Texans taking Spencer Fano, tackle out of Utah. Kind of like Maui Goa, we see him more as a guard, but regardless, the Texans really need help on that O-line. I think at this point at 23, that is pretty solid value to get a guy like Spencer Fano in there to help out with the offensive line.
Yeah, kind of going back to what you said, and back to what I said way earlier in this video, a lot of these guys we're viewing as guards. There are like a guy like Vega is a guard, like played guard in college, but all these like Fano, Mauigoa, even Proctor, if you want to throw him in there, he hasn't gone yet, but like Proctor maybe have to slide inside. All these guys just I don't know have the athleticism at the next level to play tackle. Which, if that's the case, so what? You're gonna get a good
still gonna be a
offensive
starting offensive
Yeah.
lineman.
And not to say don't try him out at tackle. If you're drafting a guy in the first round that played tackle in college, very few times are they just like, we're drafting you to be a guard. They're going to try him out at tackle.
Yeah.
And the Texans
what
are in a
all
position where
of-
they need to.
I would say that's what all of rookie mini camp, regular mini camp, and then training camp. That's what all that's for, to kind of move you around, see what you best fit in.
Yeah, and the Texans desperately need to help out C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud did not do himself any favors last year, threw a lot of bad passes. But I think it was also a lot to do with he was under pressure a lot of the time because that line's just not great. I would like to say shout out Ariante Ursary. He was kind of good this year.
He played solid. Yeah, I'll give him
I
that.
liked him
I
a
was
lot.
not that big of a fan of him, but I will say played better than I gave him credit for sure.
Which is weird because like you were talking about a guy like James Pierce with the size and the ability. He was the same way, just offensive line.
I thought,
You thought
he
he was
was a
stiff.
little stiffer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was a little too stiff.
He's just a kind of similar.
I mean, he eats up space.
That's what I was pregnant. I'm not saying they're the same player at all, but like just the size aspect of
Yeah.
an offensive lineman like that did good. Fano though, I like that pick. Speaking of big
I was
offensive
literally
linemen,
about to say, speaking of guys with size, our next guy.
at number 24 with the Browns' second pick, we are going to have them selecting Caden Proctor, offensive tackle out of Alabama. Out of all of the guys that we've talked about in this offensive line class so far, Caden Proctor is the one guy that I would be okay with sticking at tackle from the jump. I think he has the size. I think he could potentially... I think he has the athleticism. He moves very well for how big of a guy he is. He is the legit polar. Like he looks different when you're watching.
Yes.
You can tell when it's him.
Yes,
He
I
is
agree.
just the biggest dude on the field at all times.
Yeah.
And he plays like it. He plays super, super aggressive, sometimes over aggressive, which is what gets him in trouble a lot of the time. He oversteps or tries to reach too soon and gets beat with a move with the hands. I do like trying to get in Proctor with the Browns, though, because like we talked about prior with their first pick, offensive line could be a potential pick at 6. We didn't feel like any of those guys were worthy of the 6th pick. We took Jordan Tyson. At 24, though, that's a guy that, like I said, to me, he's the one guy that I think could play tackle at the next level. I'm taking a swing on Proctor there, and I like the fit in Cleveland.
Yeah, out of all the offensive linemen we have taken, I think Caden Proctor has the highest ceiling.
Yeah.
Like you said, his over aggressiveness can hurt him at times, but if you could get in a coach there that knows how to speak to him and could kind of just show him that O-line is more like, yes, you have to be mean, dirty, and nasty, play O-line, but it's also somewhat of an art. If you could just show him how to find the art side of being an offensive lineman, I mean, sky's the limit for this guy because his athleticism is insane.
And that's a thing when it comes to the offensive line. Like a guy that's over aggressive, it's one thing if you're saying, oh, I don't like this dude because he's not good.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get a guy that you're saying, the only reason I don't really like him that much because he's over aggressive, you take a guy like that because it's coaching.
That is coachable. That
Like-
is very coachable. Yeah.
You can't this is the most oversaid statement ever, but you can't teach size and speed
Yeah.
and athleticism.
Yeah.
You can teach everything else.
He naturally has.
He has
it.
everything
Yeah,
else.
for sure. No, I think that's a very good pick. We may have just saved the Browns' offense in one round.
You're welcome, Cleveland.
That easy, Andrew Barry. 25, we have the Chicago Bears. We have them taking Emmanuel McNeil Warren, safety out of Toledo. I did not think I would necessarily say this since last season. The Bears really don't have too many holes right now. Like,
They're a good team.
low key, Ryan Poles was finally in his bag. I'll give him the credit. But they definitely could use another safety, even though their DBs are already good. That defense is already pretty solid. It doesn't hurt giving them another safety. And with the range that McNeil covers on the field and his athleticism, I think this could be a really good pick for Chicago.
Especially at the size that he is. He's like 6'2", 6'3". A rangy safety with speed. Sign me up 10 times out of 10. Make the Bears defense even better than it already did play this year.
Yeah.
At number 26, the Buffalo Bills. We're taking Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker out of Texas. This would be awesome. Not only because I worked at Texas and know Anthony Hill pretty well as a player. He was in his freshman year when I was there. Absolute stud. This is going to make Bills fans a lot worrisome of this pick, though, because the one quote I can remember is I remember the linebackers coach saying he's the best football player on the field, but he can't play linebacker. Mm-hmm. And what that means is, like, he's the best athlete. Like, no one's better than him gifted, like, athleticism-wise or football in general. Like, he's just the guy that you're
freak athlete.
Yeah, like, you look on the field and you're like, that
one's good.
I want that guy. Yeah. I want that guy on my team.
The first pick in gym class.
But guess what? Like we just talked about, coaching.
Yeah.
You want that guy that has those tools. And when I'm talking, we just signed Jim Leonard to be our defensive coordinator. We're going to have to do an overhaul of that linebacking core. Matt Milano's a coverage guy. Terrell Bernard's a coverage guy. We need those downhill hitters that are going to be able to fill the gaps in the run game and blitz. That is what Anthony Hill does the best. He can cover if you need him to. It's not what you're going to be asking him to do, though. He's going to be flying around the field, playing laterally all over the field. Get me Anthony Hill on the team right now.
Yeah, I like Anthony Hill Jr. I think he is a very good athlete. I think this would be a great addition for Buffalo. Yeah, I like this pick a lot. I think it adds tremendous value to a team that desperately needs like a star on that defensive side. Mm-hmm. At 27, we have the San Francisco 49ers. We have them taking Casey Concepcion, receiver of Texas A&M. Man, the 49ers desperately need some weapons. Ayuk is gone.
Kittle battled a lot of injuries this year.
Kittle's getting old. Pearsall.
He's okay,
yeah,
but he's a Z.
He's
a Z.
You know what I'm saying? Jawan Jennings is a free agent. You desperately need some weapons for Brock Purdy. We're giving you our highest rated receiver that's available. You're welcome, San Francisco. You have another weapon finally.
I like the fit here because he's a guy that can create a lot of separations with not a lot of space and has good hands. He was a transfer from NC State. Going back, I remember this dude when he was at NC State. He was just a monster. He was a demon on the field, being able to he was their offense, and they did everything they could to get him the ball. He's a good kick returner, good punt returner. He can do it all. This is a piece that I think they're missing. You don't have to give Christian McCaffrey 600 touches again next year.
Yeah.
Maybe let somebody else get some touches.
Spread
and again,
the talent.
George Kittle was injured a lot, and that was a big miss for them. But maybe bring in a receiver. Yeah. Is that something crazy? Because, I mean, those are the guys that are getting paid a ton of money to catch the ball.
To be fair, and like maybe I'm wrong about this. If you're a 49ers fan, you could correct me if I'm wrong about this. I don't think they really saw that whole Ayuk situation happen the way it did. So like that definitely, I'm sure, took them by surprise a little bit at some point.
Maybe,
but at some point you just have to go get another talent. Like I said, Jawan Jennings is leaving most likely. Ayuk is 100% leaving. Kittle is old. Pearsall hasn't looked like a first-round receiver necessarily. Go get yourself another weapon for Brock Purdy.
Do you really want Demarcus Robinson out there again next year, Niners fans?
Like,
I don't think you do.
Kendrick Bourne is good for is like cool for a game or two.
Is that who I'm thinking of? Yeah. I said Demarcus Robinson.
Kendrick Bourne's good for a game or two.
I
don't think you want to be.
His stick isn't very hard to figure out.
I was going to say I don't know if you want to be giving him 8 targets a game for 17 games straight. Like, I don't know. Go get yourself another weapon.
Yeah. Moving on to number 28. It was the Texans pick that was traded for the Eagles. The Eagles traded back with the Texans, and now they are on the clock at 28. There we go. I figured it out. They are taking Brandon Cisse, corner out of South Carolina. They have Quinyon Mitchell. They have Cooper DeJean. They really, really need a number 2 because Cooper's in the slot. They got Quignon on the outside. They need that number 2 guy. And I think that's what Cisse could be. He's a big physical corner with good speed. Definitely not my style of corner that I'm a fan of. He's definitely more of that man-to-man aggressive type of corner. Just not my cup of tea. I haven't had very high success rate with those types of corners in the past. Not my favorite. But for an Eagles team that needs a number 2 guy, why not get a guy with the size-speed combo? You're not asking him to come in there and be your number 1 corner. He's going to be your number 2 corner and could fit really well into that scheme.
No, for sure. At 29, we have the LA Rams with their second pick of the first round. We have them taking Chris Bell, receiver out of Louisville. Now, if it wasn't for the horrible ACL tear, probably a top 20 pick. Like, you could argue he could be a top 20 pick.
He's in the conversation with the top 3.
Yes, he is a faster, skinnier Debo. Like, he is electric. I am a Chris Bell fan. Can you imagine him lining up next to Puka? And I don't know what Devontae's deal is. I probably should have searched that up before we made this video. Is he going to be on the team? Yeah, because he's not going to be a free agent.
He should be next year.
Devontae, Puka, Chris Bell.
And that even helps even more to the case because let him take his time coming back.
Exactly. That's another good point. Like, you don't have to rush him back. You're not expecting him to be the number 1. You're not expecting him to, like, it's okay, you have to show immediate success right away. Like, no, you already have talent on the outside. Let him be inside. Let him develop. Let him recover the way he needs to recover. Like, really find his footing in the NFL.
And you just stumble into one of the best receivers in the class.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of, I'm a big fan of their draft so far.
One of my favorite players in the draft so far. At number 30, the Denver Broncos are really mad what just happened. They are going to be taking Denzel Boston, the wide receiver out of Washington. I still do like Denzel Boston. I know in a couple videos ago I said if you had to pick a player that I wasn't as high on as some of the other people are at this point, it was Denzel Boston. Going back and rewatching some of his tape, I'm scarred of Keon Coleman. And he reminds me too much of Keon Coleman. I don't think he's a great separator. He's a better separator than Keon. I'll give him that. He's good with the contested catches. It's just not kind of with Cisse that I was talking about a corner. Boston's not my cup of tea of the type of receiver that I like. Not to say he's not a good player, though. Denver desperately needs to find another weapon outside of Sutton. Franklin and Mims were solid for them this year, but they're more just field stretcher type, gadget type players that I don't necessarily want as a number 2 receiver.
Yeah.
I think Boston could come in and fill in that void of being a number 2 guy, which is awesome because it's not like this is why I'm more okay with this pick than I am for like a Keon Coleman, for example, because they already have Courtland Sutton.
Yeah.
The Bills didn't have anybody when they drafted Keon. Mm-hmm. You can have Denzel Boston come in and be your number 2. There's not as many expectations on him because he's going to have a guy like Courtland Sutton in front of him to be their number 1, and he's going to have a guy to learn from. I think this is a good pick for the Broncos. I don't really think they have very many other holes, though. Defensively, they're still really well.
Yeah, they're a team that doesn't have a lot of holes. However, they could absolutely use another weapon. Mm-hmm. And out of all the weapons that are available right now, Denzel Boston is our highest rated weapon. So we just think that makes the most sense for Denver.
Yeah.
At 31, we have the New England Patriots. We have them taking Monroe Freeland, tackle out of Georgia. Morgan Moses is an old guy. I'm a Morgan Moses guy, but he's getting up there in age. Another team, not a bunch of holes. Why not get a culture-setting guy like Monroe Freeland? Feels like he's definitely a Mike Vrabel guy. Has a lot of experience under his belt. That usually makes a transition from college to NFL definitely easier.
Yeah.
Put him back there. Protect your franchise quarterback. And just have him learn with the guys you already have in that room.
Yeah, no, I think this is a great pick for them. Like you said, Morgan Moses played okay for them this year. He's not going to play forever, though. Even if he does stick around for another year, let him be your swing tackle for a year. And if inevitably Morgan Moses gets injured, because, I mean, he's going into his year 34, 35 season.
I thought he was older. Like, he's
up there.
He's up
but
there,
like,
man.
Halfway through the year, you can have him starting.
Yeah.
If not, right away. If you do decide to move on from Moses. I do like Freeling as a player, though. Like you said, that vet, in the room. He has been there for a long time. I like that pick for the Patriots. And then closing out the first round at number 32. Again, we should have mentioned this. This is assuming the Seahawks win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. We didn't choose the order. The order was given to us.
Yes. At number 32, the Seattle Seahawks are going to be taking T.J. Parker, edge rusher, out of Clemson. There's a reason they're at number 32. They legitimately, to me, outside of maybe center, and I'm not taking a center at 32. There just aren't that many good centers to me in this class, at least to the point I've watched so far. But, man, their team is just so good, and there's a reason they're going to...
That's a very good team. Just overall, that's a very good team.
And at that point, when your team's that good, you take the best player, and that's how you continually stay good.
Yeah.
And that, to us, is T.J. Parker. Showed out at the Senior Bowl this week when a lot of those edge rushers decided not to participate. He kind of proved himself, hey, I'm still in the mix. I can be a first-round pick still. I think he's a great fit in that Mike McDonald defense. I'm not saying they run a very similar defense to Clemson, but they similarities to the defenses that they play. I think he's a good edge rusher. I think he's a good edge setter. The rich get richer.
For sure. And the edge rushers they have now are up there in age. You have Leonard Williams. You have
DeMarcus Lawrence.
You have DeMarcus Lawrence. Like, the great thing about this pick with T.J. Parker is, yes, you're drafting him here in the first round. He doesn't necessarily have to go in and be a starter right away. Now, if he earns it in training camp, definitely start him, absolutely. But there's not that pressure of, okay, you need to go in right now and make a big impact for us. Like, if it turns out that the veterans are better than him, have him learn, have him get some reps here and there, let him be a rotational guy, so that later down in his career, in his rookie contract, he can be that guy that you can rely on.
Absolutely.
So that would be a great pick here for Seattle.
100%.
Yeah. Overall, I think this is a very solid mock we did. I think it's pretty realistic for the things that we know as of now.
Yeah. You don't need to watch any more draft coverage. This is it. This is what's going to happen. So
look, and it's still early. I would consider it still pretty early, like, in the process. Like, we still have football happening. Yes, it's going to be the last game of the season, but there's still football happening. In about a couple weeks is when things really start to get moving more. So I'm excited. It's an exciting time of year. It sucks that football is leaving. I haven't enjoyed football since probably September or October when yeah, but no, I'm gonna start enjoying it a little more now once all the teams are done playing
and everyone's back to 0-0.
And everyone can kind of start new again, other than Seattle, who most likely looking like going to be Seattle.
And that'll do it for this episode with the mock draft.
Yeah. Thank you guys
Who's
for watching.
Who's your pick for the Super Bowl?
We really appreciate it. Let us know who your pick is for the Super Bowl. Let us know what you think of our mock. What do you think we got right? What do you think we got wrong? I will like to quickly say our first one, this was our mock draft 1.0, and our mock draft 1.0 last year.
Got a lot of hate.
We got hate for picking Will Campbell 4th overall from a Patriots fan who called us dumb and said, why on earth would the Patriots pick Will Campbell 4th overall? Fast forward 3 months later, what did the Patriots do? Pick Will Campbell 4th overall. How did that work out, you bum? Turns out we're right. What do you know?
In the Super Bowl.
We actually know what we're talking about. You could go kick rocks.
Yes.
But thank you guys for watching. Let us know what you agree with, what you disagree with, and if you disagree with it, just know you're wrong. Yep. Let us know what you would like to see. Follow us on TikTok and Twitter at PM Football Podcast. We appreciate you guys. It's been a fun season. We will see you later.
See ya.